power of we was a way of inclusion, a way of inviting anyone who needed or wanted a place to belong.
It was just very clear to me that this was something that would really benefit the young folks right here.
And to be able to give them a different perspective, that I know where they come from, I know what they're experiencing because I was there too, and letting them know that there's different actions that they can take that'll lead to a different destiny.
We really needed to hear that. In order to change our community, we needed to hear that.
And they are inspired to invest in making it happen. That's powerful.
April 20th, Chicago, Stand Nation, Power Week. I'll be there and show should you. Yeah, that's it, baby. Hey guys, my name is Wally Green from New York City. We have an amazing event at the Stand Mansion in Chicago. It is called The Power of We, run by my man, my boy, Mr. Lauren Harris. You guys better be there, because I will too, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace!
T-G-I-F F. Can you tell I love a Friday? Sure do. I do. Why? Because I just had 4 of the most wonderful days with you. This is 5. Does it get any better? I don't think so. Hey, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. Although some of you are saying right now, but he sounds so much like Louise Jefferson. George! Okay, but I am not channeling her. I'm losing my... No, I'm not. See how I rebuked that? I'm not losing anything. I'm gaining a whole new way of expression. That's all it is. And I am happy to be here. How are you doing? How's your week rounding out? Well, I'll give you a recap. Last night, you guys know it's all about the power of we, always, but more so 2 weeks from yesterday, the 28th of April, we will be at the Stan Mansion in downtown Chicago's Logan Square with nearly 300 of the most wonderful kids in the Illinois state. I am not kidding you. In the world. I went last night. It was an hour's drive at rush hour. Oh, but coming home, I was so poured into. My cup runneth over. I want to make sure it doesn't runneth out, you see. So I went and I spent some time with a lot of the kids that'll be coming. There is their orchestra, and they did a medley of songs from great movies. That was fantastic. Here's their jazz ensemble. That's from The Incredibles. It was just incredible. I couldn't stay the whole time. They had like 20 acts left, and I was like, you know me, I'm going to bed at 8:30, right? So it's already 9:45. And I did not want to fall asleep, but they were so nice. They had me in these box seats, like I was at the Lincoln Center Awards or something, right up the front. I was like, oh. And all these people were sitting next to me going, hello, Alderman so-and-so, so-and-so. I was like, hi, just a normal everyday guy. Nice to meet you. So anyway, it was a great time. And it's going to be an even greater time because the promise, which we're fulfilling right now, that one that guarantees that when two or more of us comes together and we've got the same mindset, we've got the same heart set, and we come from the same soul set, wonderful things happen. And that's what I love about the power of we, you and me, right? There we go. So little recap, a little reminder, don't forget, yay, the Soul Children of Chicago, the Grammy award-winning ensemble. What was it? They got an award, a Grammy Award for collaboration with the group Three Doors Down. They're in the house April 28th. They're going to be singing the rafters completely off the Stan Mansion. I hope she's got some good insurance, right? Okay, Chera, that's the owner. So yeah, Dr. Walt Whitman, the 40 years this choir's been together, and this is their 40th anniversary. We're so excited and so honored to have them with us all day. Great kids. I love kids. So anyway, get over to powerwesymposium.com and grab either your in-person ticket, because we want you there to help us love up on these kids, or if you want to do it from the comfort of your own couch, lazy boy, burger lounger, or an Adirondack chair. That's great too. You can get a virtual ticket for $27, and we are splitting the proceeds from all of those pay-per-view tickets with, you guessed it, the Soul Children's Choir of Chicago, because they've partnered with some kids from all around the world, and together they're dedicated to creating a $1 million fund that they can help the orphans over in the war-torn country of the Ukraine. And I love what the kids helping kids, right? So we want to look out for the kids that are looking out for the kids. Can I get an amen? That's right. So grab your ticket today. It's just a $27 donation. The manner in which you are willing to bless the world is the same manner in which what is greater than will bless you. I'll let that sit there for just a second. Did it stick yet? Wait for it. There we go. Somebody was slow rolling. I hope it was me. Probably. Senior moments rebuke that too. Listen, whether it is Einstein or perhaps you're more of a pinky in the brain kind of person, we all have wondered from time to time, it's even in my masterclass, I'd say in there. I remember when in third grade, my teacher wrote on the board, we only use 10% of our brain. And I was like, oof, thank you, Jesus, because I knew I was going to need a lot more than 10%, right? So when I met this next guest, way back on the front end of this career, she was actually she was my very first international coaching client and one of the very first 5 that I coached, period. So in other words, she was a human guinea pig. Yep. Vivien Hudson is here. She's all the way from the land down under. Right. But I don't think you were born there. I think that was something. We're going to get that story. But let me tell you about her. She was all things brain back then. Now she's all that in a bag of chips. So let me tell you a little bit before we get her in here. Viv as she prefers to be called, clearly. She got different color hair now. She shortened her name. What else has she changed? We're going to find out. So, Viv has an insatiable appetite. I'm going to let you guess what it's for. Okay, I'm kidding. She has an insatiable appetite that keeps her diving into the depths of how we can reduce stress, take better ownership over our lives. I like both of those. She started out as a pharmacist and quickly went to owning her own businesses, where she became increasingly curious. And, okay, where was I? Oh, curious about human motivation. How do those people on the news do it? You know what I mean? Never lose their place. Anyway, Viv believes, always having had a positive attitude, she started to ask herself, Viv, what makes us get out of bed each day and have a great attitude to do whatever we choose to do? Well, the answer to this question lives in a deep web of self-awareness, courage, and self-belief. A journey she is still on, one that encompasses the brain. Duh, I already told you she was a brain guru. Body, that's new to me, and business, not busyness. Isn't she clever? She talks about mental wealth, the deposits and the withdrawals that we each make that help or hinder us. Now, Viv is also a coach, speaker, and a trainer. She works with corporate clients as well as entrepreneurial clients, and she does it because she wants to help each and every one of these people, all the people actually that she touches, bring their best self to their day. Get ready. Put some hearts on the screen. First timer, y'all know what we do, but put your heart into this illuminated conversation, because guess what? I'm trying to think of some songs from Australia. All I'm hearing is Men at Work. But what was the song? Sherry McQueen, find us that song. Here she comes, Viv Hudson. My goodness, I need my fan after all that. How are you, Viv Hudson?
My cup runneth over now too. Thanks, Lauren.
Hey. Oh, it's not Lauren. It's not Lauren anymore. I just didn't change the thing. It's Lore.
Lore.
You're Viv. Why can't I be Lore?
Well, you know why I do that? It is because if you're going to write it, how are you going to spell it? No, looking now, looking now.
Yeah, and your Vivien is spelled differently than the normal one.
Right, then the autocorrect one, then the auto.
That's what I'm going to say. So, okay. I knew it the minute it came out of this mouth. Viv, so glad you're here. Tell everybody where you're at today in the world, and then start. Why don't you take us back to when Little Pigtails and Little Hobby or whatever the toys were in that era. Go back and give us a little insight into the little Viv that helped get you here.
Oh my goodness. So let's start where I am now. I'm actually in South Carolina. So I am originally from Australia. I've been in the US about 8 years. What?
Wait a minute. When we worked together, you lived here?
Yeah.
That's that accent,
That's
y'all.
crazy.
I forget. Why is that every time I talk to you, I think you're... Okay.
Because of my fantastic accent. It's just like washes over you and makes everything else fall out of your head.
And it makes us sound so flat. Anyway, go on. It really does. I'm jealous. But people from other countries that have accents think we have one.
Exactly. It's crazy, right?
But ours doesn't sound as, as you guys.
I don't know. We all sound different, right?
Do we sound flat though? You know how you guys have and the Irish people are, I like it too. We're just...
I think because like in Australia, like we hear American accents on the TV all the time. So American accents are pervasive, right? Globally. Whereas I think when you have a different accent, and particularly like I forget that I have an accent here, and then people go, "Oh, I love your accent." Oh, that's right. I don't sound like you.
How much of your brain do you think you use, Viv?
Not enough of it, that's for sure. Not enough.
That's not an answer.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5%, maybe 2%.
Nuh-uh. You kidding? You're kidding. Okay, she's kidding.
It's because it's so massive that I can't possibly fit enough hours in the day to use it all.
But you know,
That's what
they
I'm going to say.
over here anyway, we grew up. Wasn't it 10%, you guys, that they kept telling us in school, remember? That we only use 10%. So what's the current figure?
Well, that's a good question, and I would need to research that, but it's going to be a pretty small percentage because there's so much going on out there. Now, when we have a look at our brains, we've got like creative hemisphere, which is the right side, and then we have our logical hemisphere, which is the left side.
Uh-huh.
So, Lauren, I want you to just go ahead, fold your arms now, right?
Fold my arms.
Fold your arms, right? Right, so that's your preferred side of the brain, right? So when you have like an emergency situation, you're either going to be creative or you're going to be logical, depending on what your brain preference is. Now, fold your arms the other way, right?
What other way?
So you'll,
Backwards?
yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's weird.
Right, so that's what it feels like when you have to use your other side of the brain, right?
Oh,
It
it's like
doesn't come
patting your
as
stomach and scratching your head at the same time.
yeah.
That's hard to do for. See, I just did it wrong.
and then try tapping your toe or circling your foot at the same time.
No. Well, drummers do it.
Yeah.
Drummers do it all the time. Well, you know, I've often wondered, and maybe some of you out there as well, have you ever wondered, what if we use the full capacity of our brains? What if? Well, what if indeed? Let's take a look at something I found on the web.
You can do anything. Paint a masterpiece in a minute.
I can.
Learn every language in an hour.
I can.
Build a multi-billion-dollar company overnight.
Oh, I can.
And rule the world by tomorrow.
What?
So, what's holding you back?
I have no idea.
Why aren't you doing what you want?
Tell me.
Didn't hear enough Mozart as a baby?
Probably.
Didn't eat enough veggies growing up?
Clearly.
Or is it because you're not using your brain at its full potential?
Well, duh, that's your answer.
Want to know how you can?
Yeah.
This is What If, and here's what your brain would be like at full capacity. The brain, to say the least, is very complex. We've studied it for centuries, and we're still learning more of its secrets today. But be careful. The search for facts can sometimes lead to fiction. To be smarter, your brain needs to be bigger. False. Brain size relates more to proportion than it does to intelligence. For example, here's your brain next to a whale's. Guess who's smarter? Guess whose body needs more processing power? Your brain is smaller than a whale's because your body is smaller. However, your brain is structured in a way that enables you to survive and succeed. But after all that, would you believe that humans only use 10% of their brains? Let's make it 100%. We've seen what really smart people can do. They inspire us through art, music, literature. They change the odds in sports. They come up with tools to make our lives easier, and they help organize society as a whole to make us all more powerful, for better or for worse. With access to your brain's full capacity, you're limitless. So what do? First things first, you find...
What indeed do we do? That's why you're here. So, if you just joined us, this is Viv Hudson. She's a brainologist. So, I made that up. I love it. Have you ever been called a brainologist?
No, but I'll take it.
Yay! I just used another nano part of my brain to create a name. See? So how much of that do you buy that we just saw, Viv?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more going on upstairs than what we tap into. And as you know, my business is brain, body, and business. Mm-hmm. So what I want people to really understand is that anything from the neck down is not just a vehicle of transportation for our head.
Oh.
So we have...
As if the body is hitchhiking.
Exactly.
And the brain
the brain's hitchhiking on the body just to help it get somewhere else.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you did that.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things that we do it, but we're really not aware of it, is that if you feel depressed, how do you sit? Come on, show me you're depressed. Right. Now, I want you to think.
Wait,
Now,
you're assuming I can sit. I remember being depressed so deeply I couldn't get up.
Get out of bed.
Sitting would have been a luxury.
Right.
But I get
so
it.
It's usually
Slumping.
Right. Slumped. Now try and think positive thoughts while you're slumped.
No, I didn't say
like
slump. I said slumping.
Slumping.
Yeah, I just used more of my brain. I came up with another word. That's 2 in less than 3 minutes. You're wonderful. How do you do it?
So try and think some positive thoughts while you're slumping.
I don't have to try. I'm looking at you. See how I did that? 3 in less than 3 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now I want you to sit up. Imagine there's a puppet string on the top of your head pulling your head up.
Can I imagine there's hair instead?
Well, yeah. Somebody's pulling your hair.
Yes,
right?
they are.
Yep.
Ouch.
Right. Let your shoulders relax down. Right. And if you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, depressed, if you just straighten your posture, it automatically makes you feel more positive. So actually, I got to get this. Hang on a second.
Really? Did you know that? Put that in the comments. Did you know that if you straighten your posture, you feel more positive? I'm taping a ruler, a yardstick to my back this afternoon.
Right. So this is the brain, right?
Yes,
when it's stressed, right? When it's stressed. So then as you straighten up, take 3 deep breaths. Come on, mouth through this. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Mine stopped already. Look, it's clear.
Yeah. So
Because
see
mine
what
doesn't have
happens?
anything in it.
All that fog starts to clear, right? It's genius.
Am I coming in clear? You sounded like Mike TV on Willy Wonka. That's my favorite movie, by the way.
I kind of like, do you like how my mouth did this weird thing?
I do. Oh, yeah, through there. Do it again. Do it again. Closer. Put it closer. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's as good as the spoon thing. You ever did that where you turn the spoon and makes your face all funny? That's a good one, too. Now, let me ask you this. Right now, do you think what kind of brain are you dealing with when you're a person like me with ADHD? Clearly. You see how my head just goes. So can I just ask you, because I think it's a gift. I consider it a gift because I learned how to use it inside of my purpose. And can you talk a little bit about how there may be we've been mislabeled or to believe certain things about certain things that aren't certain things? And how can it get more clear than that?
Well, back when, I'm going to say when we grew up, like if you had ADHD, like you were probably labeled as like the naughty kid, right? Because you didn't sit still in class, you didn't pay attention, righty.
They put me in the hallway for disturbing, and I, get finished with my work first, then bug everybody else. And here's what they always said, Viv, and my mom too. She would always say, "He needs a nap. He's hyper."
Yeah, absolutely. But
I made it sound like it was bad.
It's the way your brain is just firing. It fires differently, and you need extra stimulation to really help you to engage in things. And also, I think it's a level of intelligence as well, is what we're really starting to see with ADHD and even autism as well. Is that these people are have superpowers in terms of what they can take in. And I just noticed actually this week on LinkedIn, I think that there's a thing that you can put as like a level of autism, something like that. I didn't look into it yet, but I think it's being recognized that these people can have superpowers. So
I believe it.
Yeah. So Lauren is a superpower, not saying you're on the spectrum. I
think we all have something.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. Absolutely. And I feel like also if we go back to the ADHD is perhaps getting mislabeled a lot because people now, because of these wonderful things called our phones, how many of us have our computers on? We got
I
Slack
couldn't find
channels
mine for
open and all the rest of it.
I'm not kidding. When you
That
said that, I was like, "Where's mine?" You know.
that distraction is stopping us from being able to focus really clearly, and social media has got a piece of that to play. Like also, like if you're doing something, it's so easy if you're on the internet. Oh, I just thought about, I want to go do something on the weekend, so I'm going to Google some events in my local community, and then, I remember, what am I cooking for dinner now? So I'm going to
Uh-huh.
Google a recipe. So we're like all over the place with our
Speaking of
brains.
all over the
So
place, okay. I got a question.
we're all over the place.
This is a good one. I bet you never been asked this one. Seriously, you ready? Here it comes. So, okay, I forgot what it was. That was it. Why does that happen? I'm kidding, but that's a good question too. No, but I want to know, like, when I said what I said about where's my phone, that panic you feel when you all know, it's like, I think it'd be easier for me to lose a kindergartner at Disneyland than my phone at Disneyland. I'd be like, well, somebody will find them. You know what I'm saying? But the phone, if they find it, they're going to keep it. You know they're not going to keep the kid. Well, hopefully not. But you get what I'm saying? That trigger of panic of that causes, that links to so many other things because you connect to the body with your work. So say a panic attack because I can't find my phone. Is that my brain that starts it, or is it my body because my heart went fast all of a sudden?
Right. Great point. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's really where the body comes in, because we have that sensation that actually comes first before the brain registers. So you probably heard, when you put your hand on a hot cooktop and you actually pull it away before you feel the pain, right?
Yeah.
So we have that, like, and before we really have that conscious, oh my goodness, I've got my hand on a hot cooktop. By the time you've thought that, you've already pulled your hand away, because we have this innate sense in our body. So in our body, we'll feel temperature, we'll feel pressure, we'll feel pain, all those sorts of things. And our brain then gets the message, right? Gets the message from that. So there's so much, and I'm actually doing an embodiment coaching course at the moment, because this is something I've thought for years, and science is, because being the pharmacist, the pharmacist in me, I have to have that. What's the proof? What's the evidence? And so I'm always looking to see what I can find to substantiate what I think. So I'm doing this embodiment coaching course, and it's talking a lot about how we shape who we are. So I do this weird thing, like I look at people and I think, now, why does that person look old, right? And it's their shape, right?
Wait.
You don't look old because you don't have
Was
you
that a
don't have a shape.
hypothetical a comparison, or is it someone that's here on the screen with you?
No, it's a hypothetical comparison.
You know that'll be haunting me all day. I wonder if she was talking.
So
Okay.
yeah, so if you think that, then just remember the
Right.
right.
Okay, there we go.
Right. And one of the reasons that I went into the whole stress thing, so, I was a pharmacist, I did that for years. I helped people would come in and say, I want to lose weight, and then they wouldn't. And then I'd have my team of people that would come to work, and there'd be those people that would love coming to work. And then there was those people that were like struggling in life, less than buoyant about coming to work. And so I got really interested in, what is it that drives people? What makes them want to come to work? What makes them want to do things? And that has just led me on this huge rabbit hole of just trying to work out all this stuff. So I know you were talking about the brain at the beginning, but if I, like, recently, so I've been a tooth grinder for years, right? That's my little stress thing. Some
I
people
didn't know
like
that
their
was a
names.
job. What does a tooth grinder do?
I
You
wish it
grind
paid.
teeth.
I'd be super rich. It's a wonder I've still got any teeth, actually. But
Oh, boy.
but in my life, I've been like super stressed, super overwhelmed. I've actually felt so stressed, I thought my teeth were going to fall out.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I do this little snow globe thing, and that would help. But anyway, I even though I've been this brain, body, and business person for a long time, I know meditation is something that is really important,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And I do it and then I'd stop, and I'd do it and then I'd stop. Well, more recently, I did the art of living, sky breathing, and you go in, you do 3 days
Wait,
of 3-hour sessions
did you say
of
sky breathing?
sky breathing. Yeah.
What is that?
And so you learn these different breathing techniques, and then they created this little accountability group. And so I've been practicing this for some time, but within 3 or 4 days, I stopped grinding my teeth.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, don't most people grind their teeth in their sleep?
A lot of people do, but
Is
the other
where
thing
did
is,
you
like,
do it?
people would like look at me like if my kids, some of my kids' friends thought I'd look scary because I'd be like,
Oh, you do it. You would do it all the time.
so I'd have this face because I kind of like chew the inside of my mouth and rub my teeth together at the same time. So it made me look kind of
Was it anxiety?
pissed off.
What was the root of it? Was it anxiety? What was it?
Yeah, it's just the stress and the pressures that you put on yourself, and an overactive sympathetic nervous system.
I remember, this reminds me, in high school, there was a kid in one of my classes who he sat right across from me, and no matter what, every single class, his right knee under the desk was just all the time. I mean, constantly, and it was catchy. Just like I had a friend in Cub Scouts who would blink like this all the time, and you couldn't stop looking at him. And then for days, I'd be home going. And my mom was like, would you stop doing that? It's going to get stuck, And so anyway, listen, I want to take a quick break. And when we come back, here's some of the things I want to tackle so you can start thinking about them. I want to talk about, number one, work versus passion, because you said the thing about what motivates people to come to work. Like that, what's the difference between a person who goes to 7-Eleven and a person who goes into their own office at their home, building their own dream? Let's talk about that. And I want to also talk about how we can use our body. It gave me this example, but our body more than we do currently in most cases to help offset those oncoming feelings, those dark clouds, otherwise known as depression. So is there some way we can engage the body first to go around and head it off at the pass, I guess is what I'm saying. So we're going to tackle that. And also, I have a fun tip for you just on GP so that you can have more fun about your past as a pharmacist. So next time somebody says, well, what'd you used to do? Why don't you try, I was a drug peddler.
Yeah, I tell people I used to sell drugs.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd go all that way. But okay. Oh, yeah, they laughed.
It kind of gets their attention,
Yeah.
right? It's
You
like,
still
I didn't
do it on the
realize she was
side?
like that. And then
Listen, that's funny. We'll be back with the drug seller, known as the drug seller, Vivien Hudson, brainologist in my book. Don't go away. Now's a great time to share out the program. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? Seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
And welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm here with you, Lauren, your host. Listen, small changes, big shifts, big shifts, big changes. Whatever it is, change is always good when it is something that serves you. One of the things I found in the last year was the swapping out of things that didn't serve me that I put in my body. Diet Coke was the main culprit. So it was out and this replaced it. Ah, there it is. V8. I love it because it's only 60 calories in a can, 100% vegetable juice from concentrate. And guess what? 2 full servings of vegetables in every one of these babies. Easy to find. Just head down the juice aisle at your local grocer. You'll be glad you did. Don't wait until it's too late and say, oh, I should have had a V8. Grab it and have it now. No time like the now. Let's get Vivien back in. Hi, Vivien. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm glad that you actually talked about that, because what you put into your body is hugely important, and something that I've heard over the last few years, diabetes has just become so pervasive.
Yeah.
Well, dementia, they call that diabetes type 3.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I think that there is some information that's going to come out about probably sugar and plaques in the brain and that sort of thing that will actually, sorry, can you hear my dog's going crazy?
What is that?
My dog's going crazy.
Oh, your dogs. I thought you said your ducks. I was like, you have ducks? Okay, no, that's fine. We love dogs.
So anyway, so diabetes type 3 is dementia. So that it's so important that we really think about how much sugars and that we're putting into our body. And we talk about the brain, we talk about the body, but also the gut is a huge connection as well. And there's like a bazillion neurons that connect the gut to the brain. So there's, how you get that feeling, that gut feeling that you talk about.
Yeah.
Well, that's another brain. That's another brain that we have. So we have a heart brain, we got the gut brain, we got the brain,
right?
The body brain.
We were saying in the green room before we came out here, I was like, it's like a lot of us think that the brain is the only organ that actually thinks. But I know, like, when you get indigestion, to me, anything that sends a signal, is speaking, like endorphins when they're released. Dopamine, adrenaline, things that are triggered to happen under certain circumstances, fight or flight. A lot of us think that that's all done here, but I think it usually starts with the body first, right? So let me ask you something. As we get, how some senses start dulling as we get older? And here's where I'm going. I find that I take more supplements now than ever. Well, because I'm older now than ever. And your body, as it ages, diminishes or the production of certain things, and you balance it with supplements. So what kind of supplements? Actually, because I was reading a sign at the health club this morning, they said yellow things, red things, green things, purple things, what all the benefits were. And fights cancer, gut stuff, this and the other. Brain was one of them. What do you recommend? What are the top 3 brain foods?
Fish oil. Like
straight.
There's one that I get. You've got to look at. Yeah. So okay, I have it as a liquid, and it tastes amazing. I know there's a lot of fish oils out there that you can take, and they just they repeat on you. Like, yeah, you take it. You don't want to feel like you've just had a bowl of tuna at 10 o'clock in the morning. Right.
I don't know what that is. A bowl of something, some kind of
tuna.
Oh, tuna, girl. As you said, a bowl of Tina, I was like, Tina who? Tina Turner? I was saying what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So fish oil. What's another one? That's a supplement.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
What about a food?
So a food, leafy greens, anything green, spinach, broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, cabbage.
Love it.
All that green stuff. Like when you have a plate of food, if it looks colorful, you're probably on the right path. So Yeah, but
Okay.
greens. So I've heard that broccoli specifically helps to counteract the effects of like pollution. So if you've been out in the city all day breathing in that smoke and the vehicle emissions and stuff, have a big bowl of broccoli when you get home.
Okay. So
Yeah,
here's another little twist to the entire circle of this brain body connection, if we could. What about when the rest part? Because the rest part and then the exercise part, because just like we exercise our body, what about exercising our brain? What are some of the suggestions to actually go through a workout?
like where do you want me to start? So this is the whole mental wealth piece, right? Where we
Okay.
start to find those little deposits and withdrawals that we can do each day that help us to really really get the most out of our brain. So from that, like we can do, like give someone a hug, right? We can tell ourselves, hey, Viv, you're doing a great job today. I just read Mel Robbins' high five habit. Give yourself a high five in the mirror. So that's another thing, like an action with your body. It's like when you go,
Hold on.
woo,
Let me tell you
that
something.
is some, well,
I speak for all ADHD warriors. You don't want to tell us to do a high five to the mirror, because then we're going to be in the emergency room getting stitches, because we're going to take it too far. So I'm just saying.
All right.
Keep going.
So there's those things. Just having some of those, like you can say, I am I am rich or whatever, I'm wealthy, like those positive things. But often if we say it just like that, like we might not believe it. So you might have to say something instead, like I am becoming wealthier, or I am becoming healthier, something like that, so that your body, that you believe it. Because if you say I am healthy and you think, oh, look, I haven't exercised for 10 years, like I just feel like a big slob, then you're better off to say I am becoming healthier than saying I am healthy, because your brain won't believe it necessarily. So whatever you tell yourself, you have to feel is believable for you. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
Hey, Vivien, do you think our bodies can hurt or send us pain signals when there's nothing physically wrong? But
Absolutely.
they know that something's going on here that is not serving the entire collective. How do you feel about that approach?
Well, some of this embodiment training that I've been doing at the moment, like past traumas can get trapped in our bodies, right?
Yes.
And that could be stuff that we don't even remember, or that we might have blocked out, like some stuff that I'm reading at the moment, even people that were kind of trapped in the birth canal and the birth process, that later on in life, there's just stuff that happens to them, and it actually relates back to that trapped feeling when they were actually being birthed. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't really remember much before the age of 3 or 4.
Oh, you don't? I do. I clearly remember everything about being in the test tube. It was just because you could always see people looking at you. I remember it.
Yeah.
You didn't know that? You didn't know I was a test tube baby?
I didn't know that. You must have been.
I'm not, but I play one on Facebook. Okay. So,
okay.
Go ahead. No, well, you know what? Let's go. One more thing before we go back to depression, because I want some more tips for depression. It's just so prevalent. And I wanted to talk about the different shades of it, because it doesn't always look like when you can't get out of bed. So I want some early warning tips. But then last brain exercise question: myth or magic? Word puzzles and searches.
So absolutely. Sudoku, jigsaw puzzles, learning a language, learning a musical instrument, like all those things are very good for the brain. So particularly
at any age.
And particularly as you get older, like if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
So it's better. Wait a minute. So you're saying I'll be 60? Well, I'm saying I'll be 60 July 4th. You're telling me it wouldn't be strange to my body's physiological and psychological makeup for me to say, I think I want to pick up the guitar, and I've never considered it before?
Go for it. Go for it.
So let me ask you. Okay, so if I said I'm going to try that right now, and I'm like, but I've never played an instrument, but I have. But I'm saying, what if I said that? Is that my mind
So,
talking
okay.
me out of something that, I mean, is it really possible?
So it is possible. So if you look into Carol Dweck's work, she talks about the open, the growth mindset versus the closed mindset. So the growth mindset is believing that you have potential, that you have that ability to learn new things. And the great thing about that is that, yes, we can learn things at any age. And if we're not using that capacity, we're losing it. So we've got to continually challenge our brain, because the brain is lazy. This is one thing. The brain uses like about 20% of our body's energy just sitting there thinking and doing stuff. So it tries to conserve energy. So it will do lazy stuff. That's why, like, when you're lying on the couch, right, and you don't want to get up, it's because the brain's lazy. It loves lying on the couch. So you have to discipline yourself, and you have to create habits. You have to create healthy habits that help to automate those processes so that the brain isn't as lazy. So a great book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he had to learn a lot of new stuff because he had this massive brain injury when he was, I think, a teenager. And it was like these tiny little habits that help to bring us that make the big changes. So if you if you want to lose weight, for example, you're not going to drop 20 pounds in a day, right? So it's the little habits that you do over time that make the 20 pounds come off over a period of time. So if you want to become a musician, then it's the little habits that you do each day. Spend 2 minutes playing the guitar. Okay.
Well, I'm going to take that to heart. Definitely. I hope you guys do too. Here's a good one. If I say so myself, here's a good one. What's happening? Describe to us, from what you know, what's happening inside of our minds, our brains, when we have light bulb moments, epiphanies, moments of clarity, inspiration.
Those aha kind of moments.
Aha moments. What is really happening? What's firing in there that allows something like that to be so memorable and life-changing?
So I guess it's like when various connections, like brain connections, actually come together. So you can, when you link those abstract thoughts together, that it allows that aha moment. Like like you can have a coaching conversation. You would have seen this, Lauren. Laura.
Lord. Yes.
So you would have seen this, right? And sometimes you have a coaching.
I got my first funny thing with that. Next time no one's ever going to call me that because they don't know. But if someone did and they said Laura, I'll go, and not to be confused with folk. Get it?
Ding, ding. So
okay, go ahead.
So now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Golly gosh. So see that now I've had a
Join
break.
the club.
So anyways, yeah, let's start another question.
No, but those aha moments.
Yeah, the aha moments.
Where do they come from, Vivien? Where they come from?
So that's what I was going to say. So when you have that coaching conversation, like you get to the end of the conversation and you as a coach, you walk away, you didn't see them have that epiphany, right? And you think, oh, probably didn't do a great job, starting to get a bit. But then it could be the next day, it could be a week later, it could be 3 months later, those connections come together and then the person has that epiphany or that aha moment. So it's about timing, but it's about how our brain is organizing thoughts. And I'm sure, there's probably some dopamine that gets released, but most of us aren't having aha moments every day. But it's also related to just being able to reflect. And I think that's the problem now, is that we spend so much time being distracted by our devices, what's going on, what am I going to do dash next?
Yes.
all that kind of thing. There's so many options. There's so many options that our brain is constantly, what's next? What's next? I'm thinking about 5 minutes ahead. I'm thinking about 10 minutes ahead. I'm thinking about tomorrow, next week, next year. And we're not thinking about now. And we're not talking about, and we're not telling ourselves, well, I just had this great conversation with Lauren. I need to take some time to reflect after we get off today. What went well? What would I do differently next time? And that's going to help me lead to more of those aha moments, is taking that time to reflect on stuff that you've done in the past, but not in a way that, like, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that, like in a positive way, and looking at more as a learning opportunity, like I said about the growth mindset. So everything we do is a learning opportunity. So if we look at it like that, then that's going to make our brain go and grow more useful. So otherwise, I think we have, and something I did want to say on the show was just talking about body amnesia, is that we take so for granted what's going on beneath our neck, right? That I'm curious. I haven't got any scientific explanation, but a lot of people were getting neuropathies, their nerves kind of are dying off to their feet. So as they get older, is it just that we just haven't had that awareness and really thought, okay, so just take your big toe now and touch your toe to the ground, then the next toe and the next toe, and just start to use that wiring in a more mindful, more present, more aware kind of way,
to be purposeful.
And yeah, because that will help to imprint some of that memory back into the wiring. So as I say, like, I'm science-based, so I'm still waiting to find out, like, if science is going to prove that, but it kind of makes sense, like that.
It makes plenty sense to me.
Yeah.
And I want to share something. Melanie Piefer has. I want you to take a look. This is a little something. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but let's hear what they say about uncovering the brain's biggest secret. What is it? Shh, you might not want to know. I think you do.
In the late 1860s, scientists believed they were on the verge of uncovering the brain's biggest secret. They already knew the brain controlled the body through electrical impulses. The question was, how did these signals travel through the body without changing or degrading? It seemed that perfectly transmitting these impulses would require them to travel uninterrupted along some kind of tissue. This idea, called reticular theory, imagined the nervous system as a massive web of tissue that physically connected every nerve cell in the body. Reticular theory captivated the field with its elegant simplicity, but soon a young artist would cut through this conjecture and sketch a bold new vision of how our brains work. 60 years before reticular theory was born, developments in microscope technology revealed cells to be the building blocks of organic tissue. This finding was revolutionary, but early microscopes struggled to provide additional details. The technology was especially challenging for researchers studying the brain. Soft nervous tissue was delicate and difficult to work with, and even when researchers were able to get it under the microscope, the tissue was so densely packed it was impossible to see much. To improve their view, scientists began experimenting with special staining techniques designed to provide clarity through contrast. The most effective came courtesy of Camillo Golgi in 1873.
So the reason I showed that was, look how long ago they started talking about what you're talking about here today, that everything that happens underneath the neck, below the neck, and the tie-in. So tell us give us a little Reader's Digest just peek in, a kaleidoscope view, if you will, of the work you do with people. When a person comes to you, they come in looking like, and hopefully by the time they leave, if things have worked well, they now look or feel this way. What is that exactly?
So I think energy has a lot to do with it, right? So one of the things I think that like I feel like I've always had a pretty positive attitude. So I bring a lot of energy when people meet me. And I think that transposing some of that energy onto somebody else, like emotions are contagious, right? So if you are depressed, if you are down, you need to be around people that are more positive, okay? But you also need people that are supportive as well. So one of the things that I talk about is like, so I talk about this whole, set yourself up straight,
Yeah.
because your body
Yes,
shapes
ma'am.
your body shapes who you are. So I want you, like, when you get out and about, if you go outside today, just start to look at people and start to look at their shapes. Like, I kind of look at people and I just feel like I can tell that you've had a hard life. Like, you can see that they're kind of like this, and they have these really tense, like brick wall kind of shoulders, and they might be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and this is from years of being like this.
Oh,
So you need to like loosen it up. You need some movement. So you talked about exercise before. Exercise is like, honestly, if I was a doctor, exercise would be one of the best things that any doctor can prescribe. It's great for our mental health, it's great for our physical health, like it's great for our emotional health as well. So it's just so important that we move our bodies. Now, doesn't mean you have to go for a run, right?
uh-huh.
I did some work with Feldenkrais a while ago, and that's just like, they'll tell people, oh, do a stretch, and it's like, oh, that actually hurts a bit. I have a pretty stiff neck, so instead, just do gentle movements, and the more I do it, the easier it gets, and it's limbering up.
Can I?
And that doesn't feel as hard. It's just going.
Yeah. We
So
got 2 minutes left. This has been so intriguing, and I'm serious. It's got me thinking all kinds of things. I got one last question for you. Older people, say octogenarians, let's say right around there, that
mhm.
are active and happy. And I mean, what have you learned keeps their mind and body moving parallel? They don't look their age. They don't act their age. They don't think like people think an 80-year-old should. Look at Betty White, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
have you found that proverbial golden nugget, or did they drop any of the pieces of the map that lead to the
I
fountain
yeah.
of youth? What else
I,
can I call it? Fountain of
yeah,
youth.
some of it is just about having that purpose, which you talk about, right?
I do.
That if I feel like I'm contributing, and this is what I say to my kids, if I get to a point in my life that I'm not contributing, just, if there's voluntary euthanasia, just put me out there,
Uh,
because I'm not.
there's some rat poison over here in the oatmeal canister. Feel free to just,
So I think, like, you see those people that the reason that they are still vibrant is because they're still contributing. They're still making a difference in some shape or form. Even
yes.
like if you put somebody like in a nursing home, if you give them a plant to care for, their mental health well-being is better than if they didn't. So it's so important that we feel like we're making a
Like
difference.
we're
So
making a
even if it's
difference.
just looking after a plant, so having a pet, having someone that you check in on, something like that.
Something like
That
that. I get
yeah.
it. Listen, you guys, if you'd like to follow up with Viv Hudson, one of her jams is LinkedIn. You'll see that scrolling along the bottom of your screen right now, or head over to brainbodyandbusiness.com, because we didn't get too much into the business part, because the intriguing parts for me, I'm trying to get away from the business mind this morning because I got it in front of me all day. But this brain and body connection, hey, I think there's some powerful nuggets in there. And I want us to continue looking for that E and that R. You know what I mean? Anything that helps us take what we already have, great to greater, bright to brighter, but most importantly, strong to stronger. So I want to thank all of you for joining me today and every day this week. It has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. You know why? Because with you, with us, with we, it is always guaranteed to be a beautiful human experience. Today, no exception. I want to thank you again, Viv. Don't stay away so long. Come back whenever you want. Just reach in and say, hey, I got something to report, and we'll get you back in here. Is that okay?
I'd love to. It's been great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could talk to you all day. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks for
thank you
having me.
so much. I love you. I love you. And thank you for being one of the first for me to give me something to believe in and to reach for. And here we are. So, and you guys get out there, not just today, but every day. Be the best version of yourself. Get out and make life the wonderful, magical scavenger hunt it is intended to be. Every single thing matters. Nothing is about just one thing. And most importantly, remember, you are everything you believe yourself to be. No more, and certainly no less. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday morning, God willing, out front on the front porch for our next episode, where my guest will be. He's in his 80s, so you know there's some gold in them thar hills. That's right. His name is George Lindenfeld. This guy is working with people all over the world, removing depression, getting kids to stop cutting, all through sound therapy. Wait till you hear about this breakthrough in the papers that he's just recently had published. It's going to knock your socks off. We'll see you Monday morning. Don't forget, mark your calendars and be the change, be the best thing you could ever think. But more importantly, be that blessing that you want to see in the world. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Vivien. Love you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Great weekends. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you.